Really good win last week against a really quality opponent, divisional win. And we know anytime you get wins in your division, there's some coaches say that it counts for two. But man, it was really good to get that win, especially in the conditions that we had. 'Cause it really shows exactly who we are as a team, what our players, how they go about operating. It doesn't matter rain, snow, or sleet. It doesn't matter what surface that you're playing on. Those men are ready to go out there and play and compete and play at a high level. I'm happy about the defensive performance. Again, our guys got a timely takeaway, and we finally got a chance to get a score. And Kirby's doing a heck of a job at playing this position and understanding exactly what we're trying to do as a defense, and he's playing accordingly. I'm going to go ahead and knock this out because I know the question's going to be about it. Really happy to get Zadarius. Obviously, he's not with us at this moment. He'll be back with us on Friday, and we'll see exactly where he's at. I can't promise he's going to play or not, and that'll be up to Coach Campbell to make those decisions and him to see exactly where he's at. But I am excited about having that player. Listen, I'm not going to compare this player to Hutch. It's hard to compare anybody to Hutch, but he has his own traits and skill sets that we're going to take advantage of. And the more I get to know the player, and the more we get a chance to watch him, and we're going to try to put him in positions to be successful. But, man, I'm looking forward to this week. I get a chance to go to my hometown, which is always exciting, a team that I played for about 3 years, and against a quality coach that I know, who I think is doing a hell of a job with that team. This is a team that's fast, they're physical. They have explosive players at the receiver spot. The running back, Mixon's doing a heck of a job. It seemed like he's gotten there and found new life the way he's running the ball. And in the passing game, some things he's doing with them. I think this offense creates a number of issues that we have to be really, really careful about going about operating against them. Obviously, it's the San Francisco system, but you see some things that he's put his own stamp on, so we got to be good with that. So saying that, any questions?
Could you see under the glasses on the side?
No. This thing is really getting out of hand. I am not a social media person. I'm not, but I have 3 kids, and they're grown, and my wife of 28 years. And let me say this first off. She told me I was so much better up here last time because I smiled, so I want to make sure she see this. All right, I want to put that out there, but man, for all the, the memes or whatnot that people have been sending me about that, and I had no idea. I really didn't. I was just locked in trying to call the best game I can, knowing that was a quality opponent. The best one I've seen was the one that Saint put together where he had his Green Bay shirt on or whatnot, and he put my face on his. But this thing is getting out of hand, fellas. So. But it's cool. It's cool.
Just in that weather.
It's hard for me to say that because the only thing I was thinking about is what's the next play, what's my next play call, and how I can put guys in position to be successful. And once BB had his altercation, he was out. Now I have to just refocus on doing some other things and making sure that I get everybody in line on what we have to do, because that was a transition in itself. Because there's a lot of things we do as far as our game plan to put him in a position to go make plays. And when he left the game, we had to transition to some other things. I thought our coaching staff did a really good job of understanding exactly what I was trying to do and helping those guys get in positions.
The interception that Kirby had, Branch said that was designed to be his blitz, but we know how much those guys have been interchangeable. How much does that speak to the growth of Kirby, that he's not just a center fielder but can come down in the box and make things happen there as well?
Well, let me address the BB thinks every blitz is supposed to be for him. So I would say that first and foremost. But the thing is, Kirby has skill sets that we want to tap into, and obviously he's really, really good in the deep part of the field. That could be deep half or deep middle. But if you look at the body type, man, he's a thicker built safety. He weighs about 210, 212, so his ability to go in there and cause havoc as far as a blitzer is something that we will continue to take advantage of too. And plus, listen, we want those guys to be interchangeable. We want those guys to be able to do everything they can to be a top-notch safety in this league. So do we blitz him all the time? No, we don't. But there are times we want to make sure we put him in those positions to do that. So it was a great play by him. We're steady going to look at that, being able to send him and blitz him, but we also put him in coverage and man coverage also. So, listen, those two guys, man, are doing a hell of a job for us. And the thing is, they're not even close to where they're going to be. And that's, when I talk about that, that's just understanding the game as they get older and understanding the things we're trying to do with them technically that they have to do a better job at.
Playing for the Texans, what was it like to be one of the original players for a new team in your hometown?
Listen, I was leaving the Jets that I had an 8-year run with. And listen, that was tough to leave that place because I really enjoyed playing there. But I really looked forward to going home and playing in my hometown to be able to play in front of my family and friends. And I really took that as an opportunity to, man, how can I put my stamp on this team? Knowing it was a new franchise. So I wanted to do everything I could to lead by example. And I thought I did that because I know that me and Gary Walker were like the first two guys to make a Pro Bowl from an expansion team. And I was really proud of that because I felt like I did exactly what I want to do, is put my stamp on so guys can actually follow and understand what we're trying to do to be a really good team. Listen, the record wasn't what we wanted, but I thought defensively we did a pretty good job.
With Ryan being ejected, what was your assessment of how Brandon stepped in, especially in that kind of moment where it's so unexpected?
Listen, he's been doing that since he's been here. There were other games that he came in and he played for us when guys went down. And I have all the trust in the world for Bijo. He's a very smart player. He understands what other people on the defense is doing, and that's one of his strong points. So listen, we're very comfortable putting our player in the game whenever there's a time that we need him in.
You mentioned Zadarius and has his own traits and skill sets separate from Hayden. What are those ones that fit in your defense? Why was he such a good fit?
Listen, he's the first thing that everybody sees with this player is the edge presence that he have. He's tough. He's been doing it for a long time. He's tough in the run game. He can set an edge, which we really look forward to seeing him do. But then he has a knack for really going inside and being able to capture an edge on third down against guards. So, listen, Hutch can do that, but you see Z and the body type he has, man, he's really good at doing that. And then you actually see it on tape of him being able to make plays in that situation. So the more that we look at him and see what he likes as a player, we're going to use him in those situations.
You've been talking about the importance of crushing the pocket since you got here. And, you know, we saw with Aiden and Marcus just how well that vision kind of came together with Zadarius and Pascal coming back, both power players, crush the pocket. Are you going to be able to get back to that with that tandem?
Well, the mindset was to never get away from it. The mindset was always utilize the players that we have and what they do best. And I know I continue to say that, but I think that's the number one thing a coach is supposed to do. But you're absolutely right. I mean, that's a strong point for both of those guys. But again, I don't just see Zadarius just always on the edge. We're going to use him in a number of different spots. Somewhat similar to the way Cleveland used him, because I thought he was pretty successful in that system of being able to come inside and make some plays also. But his ultimate spot will be on the edge. He is a big man. He is a strong man, and he does have long arms. So what you just said was exactly right. What we want to try to continue to do is put him in there so we can get ready to crush the pocket.
Just on a personal level, like, from a coaching standpoint, how challenging, fun, I don't know, has this year been for you to try to mix and match, losing all these pieces on defense and guys going in and out and having to sort of, challenge yourself, I guess, to come up with different ways to win?
Regardless of that, I really enjoy my job. I know the pressures that come with this job. I know the criticism that comes with the job. But I also know when things happen on the other side that is going well, the noise that you hear from that. But I try to do everything I can to keep my focus on the players. I try to do everything I can to keep my focus on the team. And how can I best utilize even my staff to make sure that we're on the up and up as far as playing good defense. But it is a fun situation to be, especially when you got the pieces that we have. And no one's the same, and everybody's different, and that makes it fun to be able to utilize each player to their own unique qualities to put them in those positions. Obviously we got Iffy and E-Man that's starting to practice, so now we get a chance to utilize them and see what they can do, if they can help us or not. So, but we all seen what Iffy have done. The thing E-Man, we haven't been has a chance to see that in live action, but I'm looking forward to see how he operates.
Play creativity with
with offense a lot. I mean, it shows your creativity on defense that gets to come out a little bit.
Well, I try to be. The thing is, like I said, it's always fun to be able to have different coverages, be able to have different structures as far as front structures and to attack people. And I say this all the time, man. I'm always looking at the tape and saying, how can I attack? And that's from a structure perspective. And the coach staff does a really good job of helping me up understand exactly what I'm trying to create and going to teach the players what I'm trying to create. And the players do a good job of going out there and executing.
What's the outlook on C.J. Stroud? You see Love last week, and he gives Stroud to these young rising quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
What are the challenges Stroud presents?
Listen, obviously he's growing to one of the better quarterbacks in this league. He's a big man. He has a quick release. He's effective when he gets outside the pocket of making plays. He's not a true runner per se, but he can run, all right, to create plays. So the thing that we got to be careful of is, man, these receivers that he have and the running backs that he have are not allowing him to be able to just dice us up, getting the ball out to these guys because they can really make some plays. This is a good offense, fellas. It's a really good offense. We've got our work cut off for us. We're up to the challenge.
I was talking to somebody late Sunday night who was on your sideline during the game.
Okay.
And they see a lot of different teams come through there. They said that your sideline was different than any other sideline, both from the vibe to the confidence level to the looseness. You've been on a lot of sidelines. Can you sense that? I mean, I know it's a reflection of what you've built, but...
Listen, it's to me, I don't know if since the silence is the correct way to look at it, but I do feel like there's a confidence with our players that each week we feel like we can go out there and we're going to give ourselves a chance to win. And that's different from some teams that I've been a part that, I don't know. These guys each week feel like, man, we're going to win. And we don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. That can be a close game. That can be a blowout. That could be an end of game situation. And the reason why they think that because we go over so much during the week, and you got to credit our head coach for that. So any situation that comes about, we feel like we have an opportunity to win the game because we know exactly what to do and how to do it. And again, you get a credit to the players in that situation because they know exactly what we're trying to coach. But yeah, there is a confidence with every player on our team, offense, defense, and special teams. They're going to go out there and they're going to execute well.
Special teams have been so good. That's a bit. We don't have anything for you.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We take it week by week.
You were dealing with some injuries to some really key guys with your groups. Malcolm was out last week, may still be down this week. Jalen's currently banged up. I feel like we ask this every year, but just when you're missing such high-level pieces like that, what is the challenge going into a matchup?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the biggest thing is if you have a bunch of good players and then everybody can kind of share the load a little bit. I talked about that last week, so that helps. It's an opportunity for somebody to come up and play. Last week, Strickland came up. We played Houston a little bit more, O'Connor a little bit more, so some other players maybe play a little bit more. Zylstra, obviously, is playing more for us than he was. And then, I think for us, we've been fortunate. We've had a lot of depth on the roster, and these guys have been here. So even if they haven't been playing, they've been practicing and doing a lot of things we asked them to do on game day now. So it's not like they've never done any of it. But
You were really high on Green Bay's special teams last week. Just maybe what jumps out about Houston and the unit you faced.
yeah, it's a great question because I'm higher on these guys. I feel like every week is going to be a challenge. I mean, if you look at our schedule, we play a number of teams in a row here that are very talented on special teams. And so it'll be a reoccurring theme. This group is very explosive. They got a bunch of quick, fast athletes. Their returners are very good. Physical kick returners, punt returners, very explosive players. They have a lot of experience in their group. Their linebackers run really well. They run and hit. Their safeties and their corners can fly on the outside, so their gunners are real fast. Their jammers are real fast. overall, a very talented group. I mean, there's a lot of influence, I think, from the Bill Belichick New England Patriots era with their general manager there, and that goes to the, back end of the roster being high-level special teams players, or you're not on the team. This team's let a bunch of good players walk out of there. We got a couple of them. Jalen Reeves-Maven, they let him go. They let Turner go. They had him this year, and we just picked him up. But they let him walk out of there. This guy's been a high-level teams player. So they got an abundance of talent over there on that side of the ball. So it'll be a really good matchup. We're excited, just like always. And I think I said it last week, but that's really why you play the game. You want to go against great players and great teams, and you want the challenge to really elevate your game. I said to Rich Bisaccia last week before the Green Bay game, I love going against him because every time I play against his group, he forces me to get a little bit better too. So I think as you play good teams, it helps you as a coach get better because the challenge is bigger. So we're excited about it.
The elements with offense and defense a lot. How proud of you were really mistake-free last week in those kind of elements?
Yeah, to be honest with you, the wind blowing down the field was a little bit more than I anticipated going into the game. I knew we knew what the elements were going to be, but a lot of times the wind blows a little bit left to right or right to left and not as much straight down the field, and it ended up being pretty straight down the field in that game. I thought our specialists did a great job handling it. Jake, I thought, did a really good job. The snaps weren't perfect in the game. The Fox, as a holder, did a great job of getting the ball down. The holds weren't perfect, and he ended up making all his kicks and just not really flinching or blinking. And I think I've said this to you guys before, and I certainly said it to our guys, but to me, that's what NFL players do. Everything's not perfect, but you still go out there and execute and play at a high level and make your kicks or get the ball down on a bad snap or, overcome the obstacles that are out there. I think great players do that. I think great teams do that. I think people in life who end up being successful do that. And there's no excuses for what goes on. And so I was proud of those guys for handling that.
Excuse me, the sort of Patriots ties in the organization over there. I think their special teams coordinator was a scout with New England too. Like, is there a New England influence in what they do special teams wise?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. He grew up in that system. He grew up, kind of underneath Bubba Ventrone, and Ventrone played up there, and then obviously coached there, and then's gone on to coach in Indianapolis, where he brought Frankie Ross with him to Indianapolis, and then when Casario, or however you pronounce his name, got the job there in Houston. I think those two guys went to college together. And so then I think Casario brought Frankie to Houston. So they know each other well, I think. And, yeah, there's a lot of influence of New England Patriots stuff.
What is it? Sometimes you can, we talk about offense, right? Maybe the West Coast team. What is a Patriots special teams?
Try to put the pressure on you in a lot of different ways, whether it's, different punt rushes, bringing corners off the edge, that kind of stuff. But, really putting a lot of detail and emphasis on special teams, both from the roster and schematic standpoint.
Since we're talking about the Patriots and how Bill Belichick is retired, have you gotten any closer to your...
Gosh, man. I wish. I kept on thinking he's going to call me, but I guess I got to call him. No, but, I think the world of the guy.
The snaps, we haven't seen that a whole lot with him this year. Any concern there, the one on the punt?
I don't.
Those deals?
Yeah, I don't have any concern at all with him, really. He didn't handle the conditions perfect, but no, he's actually had a great week so far. Yesterday's practice was outstanding. He's been really outstanding for us. I think I've said that a number of times. Really, the success of our kicker he's been a huge part of that. Because of the velocity on the snap, the accuracy, and how tight and catchable a spiral he rifles back there. It's really made our kicker a better player this year. So, no, I feel great about him. It just was a tough game and tough situations, and I think he's probably learned from it and grown a little bit too. And some things maybe we do a little different next time around, but no.
Is there anybody on your groups that we're not seeing that's maybe given some contributions that are at maybe even a higher level than you expected coming into the year?
I don't know if I would say higher level than I expected, but, I think Vildor's done a really good job for us as one of our gunners. I mean, everyone focuses on Dorsey, and he gets a lot of attention, but because of that, Dorsey gets the double teams. And then if you can single the other guy, well, then, it's a tough day for you in coverage. But Vildor's been able to show up for us on the backside when he's got the one-on-ones and really helps us out. But I think the best thing, honestly, about our group is I feel like they play very complementary football. They all play together as a team. We're a group of 11 players out there, whether it be punt coverage, punt return, kickoff return. I think they play their role, they embrace their role, and we really play team football. And when you play that way, I think everybody gets a chance. We got a lot of guys with tackles on the team. We got a lot of guys with blocks on the team. We got a lot of guys with critical blocks. So I think they've kind of shared the load and passed it around together. And I think I've said to you guys before, the most important thing to me is how we play together as a group of 11 guys on the field. And it's not about really any individual performance, but about the group. And I think they've done a good job.
Quick second, 12 field goals, unblemished. Considering his background, can you just speak to the difficulty of how hard that is to come from where he's come from and to be able to have that type of accuracy and success so far?
Yeah, he's done a good job. I think Coach Campbell's done a good job of also managing him. I think we put him in good situations. It's like their kicker, I think his kick, he's 10 of 12 on 50-plus kicks. We don't have that many 50-yard kicks, and it's really not because we don't think we can make them. We haven't been in that situation a whole lot, and it's not like we punted from there either or gone for it. In an unmanageable go-for-it situation. Anyway, so I think he's been managed well. We've tried to get him a lot of confidence going into the year. We've tried to manage the kicks. We tried to give him a lot of repetition early in the year in training camp and get him more confident. He's got such a big leg that even with wind and weather and all that stuff, he really just has to hit one ball. And if he can just hit that one kick and just hit it right down the middle and just get very consistent at that, he's going to have a lot of success and be consistent. So a lot of his success is because of his talent. He's so talented and strikes the ball so hard and powerful that it's going to go straight no matter what the conditions are, as long as he hits it right. And he's just gotten better and better at that. We've kept kind of his focus very narrow, and he's done a good job of focusing on that. So a lot of credit to him, but also a lot of credit to the group of guys around him. Those three guys get along really well. They work really hard at it. They're very, very competitive and very prideful about their performance. He's still got room to grow, but we'll just keep it going.
Long distance kicks that he has, I don't know how you feel your field goal rush has been, but what's the coaching point for your long ones? Just get your hands up in a lower trajectory?
I think I said 2 weeks ago or something, for us, we focus on what we do and obviously not what they do. But for us, we put some good pressure on our with our field goal block on other teams' field goal. I think you try to apply as much pressure as you can and force them to execute. And if they do, then they got a chance to make it through. But if you do, then you got a chance to either block it or pressure them into a bad kick.
All right. Hello. How about that defense, huh? They're rolling right now. I mean, they did a heck of a job the other day. We definitely feel them when they give us a pick six like that. That makes life a lot easier on our end. So AG's doing fantastic, and those guys are really rolling over there right now. Proud of our guys, how they handled the elements there last week. Didn't turn the ball over, caught the ball when it was thrown to us, and Jared handled it really well, getting us into the right play and distributing the ball. So took care of business just like we set out to do. And this week is just kind of the same story. Feels like every week right now, a different defense, but we faced some really good ones now over the last few weeks. And this is a challenge just like all the others have been. Different style. We really haven't seen a team quite like this year. The wide nine front, they're attacking, they're penetrating, they're really disruptive. And and they're really well coached. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
You mentioned catching the ball when it's thrown to them. You guys have done that all season. I mean, your drops are among the lowest in the league. So I'm wondering how much of that has been just the personnel you guys have acquired over the years, and how much of that is, a point of emphasis with the coaching staff through the drills.
Yeah, we felt like a big area of improvement for us last year was that the fundamentals of catching the football. I believe if you looked at a number of different stat sites, we were on the bottom 5 on a consistent basis a year ago in terms of catching the football. We had a number of drops, and so highlighted that in the springtime, made it known to each position group. They were all at fault: receivers, quarterback for ball placement at times, tight ends, running backs. It was really everybody, and so we've made it a big emphasis, and so far we've seen some results from it. But that particular game, I was kind of coming out in pregame expecting to see us struggle a little bit more, but they between wearing the right shoes, not slipping, focusing on the football, securing it after we caught it. I mean, I thought they did a phenomenal job.
Those little details like the cleats and being able to. How have you seen that kind of evolve over your time here? Have you feel like you've been able to get a better grasp on the details throughout your time in Campbell's time here?
Yeah, I mean, there's little things like that. Certainly in this division for as long as I've been, Hank Fraley's been coach now, his 4th year, and then just as a play caller, feeling it. There's things that, like Dallas, I'll bring that up as an example, different because we're inside, but we knew that the sun was going to be a factor that game because of that time of day, where it was going to be. So for me, it's selective on knowing when we want to throw the ball down the field, but make sure it's not in our receiver's eyes. So little things like that, we certainly calculate in terms of how we're attacking our opponent. And we've got some smart players that have been around. They played at Lambeau now, and we've seen when guys don't wear the right shoes, the consequences of that and how it affects the team. So we're all on board, and our captains lead the charge on that.
Donnell and Anderson get a lot of the attention on the edge, but can you speak to how good they've been inside too, and the challenges that presents with guys like Edwards and Settle and Autry in there? Those guys, it looks like just all the way combined, that's a really good front. How tough is that to deal with?
It's front, it's linebackers, it's secondary. They've got talent all over the place right now, and this scheme seems to elevate some guys up front for them. I mean, they are just raging off the football. It's hard to simulate in practice. We're going to try to get our show team to do it over the course of the week, but unless you're in it for an extended period of time, it's really hard to do and give us the right look. They're really good at it. They disrupt the quarterback. They make it hard on offensive linemen. They make it hard on tight ends with the defensive ends going right through the V of their neck half the time. So it's a lot going on, and just like you said, the edge guys get a lot of attention, but interior, they can push the pocket and get on the quarterback's lap in a hurry. So I think a testament to that would be 3rd and 7 to 10 this week. I've got, call it 27 clips on my cut up, only 3 conversions and 8 sacks. I really haven't seen anything quite like that. So they're doing a phenomenal job. Not just on 3rd down, but really throughout. This is a team that thrives on creating negative plays, and it starts up front.
It sounds so simple. It's kind of like one of the basic elements of football, like just that pitch and catch, completing passes. But Jared's doing it at like a rate that's pretty unreal. Can you just put in perspective, like how difficult it is, what he's completing passes, the way he's completing them?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned to you before, a guy that I had in college named John Shoup is one of my mentors, really the reason why I got into coaching. I still remember him when I was a quarterback at Carolina. He said, man, I don't know if you guys can go 18 for 18, but I know you can go 1 for 1 18 times. And it feels like that's what's going on with Jared and St. Brown right now, their connection in particular, but just Jared as a whole. Each play is its own play, and he knows where to go with the football. He's putting it in a good spot for our guys to not only catch it, but also run after the catch. And so I think he'll tell you he's just playing disciplined football and distributing on out. And for me as a play caller, it just makes me want to call more and more passes right now. The issue has been we just haven't gotten many plays. The last 5 games, we're only averaging like 58 plays a game right now, and normally we're over 70. So we're not able to get to all of our good stuff at the moment. But what's that?
Stop scoring so fast, right?
Yeah, I don't know about shoot. The 3 and outs, that's what's getting us right now. That's what we got to clean up.
Kind of piggybacking off of production right now, just going off of the averages, the offense is on pace to finish with about 68 touchdowns, over 1,600 yards. That put you guys with one of the 6th best offenses in NFL history. When you hear those numbers, does that give you a sense of pride, or do you feel there's like another gear that you need to reach?
No, like we're only at midseason, and some games we've shown up and played really well. Other games we haven't put together a whole 60 minutes. I mean, last week, the first 4 drives, we really did a nice job. We scored touchdown, we needed a punt, we got a field goal, then we came back out with a touchdown. And then the next few drives, it's a 3 and out, 3 and out, 6 and out. And so would like to just see us play at a consistently high level throughout the game. That's really what we're striving for right now. And whatever, it feels like every week there's a new tidbit or record that's popping. I had no idea about the St. Brown and Jared connection, and that's great, man. It's awesome. We love all that stuff, but for right now we're just focusing on playing good, consistent football. And like I said, we really got to clean up these 3 and outs right now. That's a big point of emphasis for us this week.
Both running backs like Gibbs and Montgomery, and using them and seeing how fresh they've been throughout the game. Like, is that a conscious effort where you see one guy's getting off or riding hot hand? How have you been divvying that up a little bit, throughout the?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have certain plays that go to each guy, but for the most part, they just have their series. Scotty Montgomery will tell me, I'm going to start with Gibby this series, or I'm going to start with Demo this series, and truth be told, I don't know what the numbers say if you look at our self-scout entirely, but I don't call the game that much different for either guy. Like, I feel just as good about Demo perimeter-wise or splitting them out on routes as I do Gibby running inside the tackles. I mean, it's really, that doesn't influence me very much. It's just the flow of the game and what we're doing, and that's because both those guys we view as complete backs. They can do anything. They can. They're both dangerous when they get the ball in their hands as a runner, but also as a receiver. I don't know. We've had numerous explosive checkdowns this week this year between those 2 guys. And so the confidence is at an all-time high. And you're right, they just thrive one after another. Who's going to make the next big play?
You see that a lot in the college ranks, but how unique is that to have 2 backs that can't operate on that level in the NFL?
Yeah, it's rare. It's rare. You don't see it that often. I think teams will do the running back by committee approach, but it's certainly not a 1A, 1B like we have here, where they're both, if they went to, call it 28 other teams, they'd both be the number 1 back on all those teams. So huge luxury for us. It makes my life easier as a play caller. It makes our O-line's life easier as they're blocking for them up front. And as we like to say, they just elevate their teammates, elevate the people around them.
From your perspective, what challenges does the Texans secondary bring to you guys' offense?
Man, they bring confidence, they bring swagger. This is a group that flies around, a lot of respect for their nickel. I mean, there's a reason why they play nickel more than anybody else in the league right now. They don't want to take him off the field. Number 5, Petrie. I mean, he's all over the place. Great cover guy, great run defender. They'll blitz him. I think he's kind of a guy that pops off the tape early in the week. Stingley's playing really good football. Laster, for a rookie, is playing really good football on the outsides. And then their safeties are all over the place making plays as well. So they mix it up, quarters, spot drop, man-to-man. I mean, they do it all on the back end. Corey Unland's coaching those guys back there, and I think the world of him as a coach too. So schematically, we'll have our hands full trying to find some nuggets on him, but then personnel-wise, they're really good.
Scored a couple times on 4th down against Green Bay. How much of an emotional boost is that when you can have that kind of success in a high-leverage play like a 4th down?
Yeah, it's awesome. Each week we go into it, we know our head coach is aggressive on 4th down. And so we spend probably more time than most teams game planning that down and distance. And so far this year, we've seen some good results from it. But our guys certainly feed from it. That scenario there, 4th and 3 from the 3, those 2 guys, St. Brown and Jared, made phenomenal plays. And we know in the back of our heads that if it doesn't connect, then we're putting our defense in a great spot. They're backed up as well, and we'll get the ball back with good field position at a minimum, if not a safety. So there's a lot going on there that Coach Campbell puts into account for that stuff, and we're just trying to do our part on our end, having sound plays and featuring our playmakers.
Just curious, did you know Corey before he was here at all?
No, but the year that he was here, got close with him. Dave Fipp knows him really well. He's just great man, great ball coach. Yep.